Greetings, it's Eric Bakker, the Naturopath from New Zealand. Thanks for checking out the channel. Let's talk now about the 7 ways on how to avoid Candida die-off. Some people believe that you have to experience die-off or severe reactions before you get any better. You need to have pain before you get gain. Well, this is actually a complete fallacy in my experience, and I've worked with Candida patients for a long time now, well over 30 years. Well over half the people we work with never experienced die-off reactions whatsoever, and some of these people had severe Candida. So let me show you the 7 ways on how to avoid die-off reactions. The first one is strong treatments favour strong die-off reactions. So don't forget that. Many people still believe that heroic treatments or strong treatments are going to give them the results they're looking for. We want that pain gone real quick. Now some people have that belief that when you've got a yeast infection or a problem in the body, deep internally, if you take a strong treatment, you'll nail it really quick. But you will, but at the expense of producing a lot of symptoms that you really don't want to experience. Hideous symptoms like brain fog and bad fatigue and vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, bad body odor, joint pain, all sorts of symptoms can occur. And in most cases, this is entirely avoidable. One of the key things I've found over the years is to work through a cleansing phase first. So coming down from the type of foods and lifestyle that you've got to another level. Just slow down, take things easy first for a few weeks before you start the cleanse. And this will in most cases help you avoid any nasty kind of situations from arising. So optimizing your treatment by eating the right kind of food and taking the right kind of supplements is going to definitely help you avoid crash and burn that so many people unfortunately have to experience. The second one is to think about gut and liver cleansing before you even think about a Candida cleanse. Because remember, once we start killing large amounts of yeast and bacteria in the body, in our gut, and particularly in our small and large intestine, we're going to create a lot of mycotoxins and associated chemicals as the immune system ramps up. So remember, the liver and the kidneys have to handle all of this junk. So the best way to deal with it is to optimize, obviously, the condition of these cleansing organs before we even start treatment. And so by doing this, we're going to allow these toxins to be much more easily excreted from the body with a lot less peripheral symptom development. The third one is gut cleansing through healthy eating. Now many people, if you look at the internet, particularly YouTube and channels like that, you'll find all these kinds of videos coming up with people making all these incredible suggestions on what to eat with Candida. Now if you're watching this video now and you've got Candida overgrowth, the key thing I can say to you is look at the most toxic thing that you're eating or drinking right now and minimize that first. So if you're drinking alcohol regularly, even once a week, and you're eating healthy food, well, that's what's got to go first. If you're having 1 can of soda a week, I much prefer you get rid of that than start looking at introducing fermented foods and eating apples and all this other business. So look at the key food or drink that you really like or addicted to or have a strong inclination towards. That's got to go first before you do anything else. Lean in towards healthy eating. Apples and fruit is going to be way better than processed food. Regardless of what kind of fruit you eat, it's got to be better than the crap that you're eating now if it's not good. So remember, this is part of the cleansing regime we spoke about earlier, is you really need to get that gut and liver and kidneys and hopefully bowel prepped a bit before you start cleansing to avoid any complications. Number 4, favour plant-based antimicrobials in medicine over pharmaceutical-based. So plant-based medicines tend to have a much broader range of action. They contain a lot of phytochemicals and nutrients in them that attack fungi and bacteria on multiple levels. When you're looking at a pharmaceutical treatment, it tends to be more narrow and specific and stronger in action and aimed usually just at killing the yeast or bacteria. The 5th one is antifungal drug awareness. So when you're taking an antifungal drug, be very mindful of the dosages. If you're a sensitive person, discuss this with your medical doctor if you're being prescribed a pharmaceutical drug, because you don't want the body's capabilities overwhelmed. So if the doctor recommends a high dose up front and you're very sick, I'd be very skeptical about that and say, look, I'm quite sensitive, and don't you think it's going to cause any reactions? Consider carefully the drugs that you've been prescribed and the dosage that have been recommended to you, because this is one way you could avoid die-off right at the onset. Number 6, stress makes the gut a lot worse. You may know this yourself. You may have had an argument with someone that you care about or you're close to a partner, and look how it's affected your digestive system. Stress affects our body in so many different ways. So when we're under stress, our gut doesn't function properly. In fact, blood's diverted away from the digestive system to organs that can allow us to escape, and avoid the stress in the first place. So if you're under stress, under severe stress, emotional stress, psychological stress, whatever kind of stress, it's not a good idea to undergo a Candida cleanse at that same time. It's actually contraindicated because this is one way you can get severe die-off. If you're going through a relationship breakup, if you've been fired from your job, if you've got problems with the neighbor next door, whatever type of stress you've got, it's going to affect your immune response in a bad way. Now, if you're not sleeping properly, you can't switch your mind off, you're worried about things, again, not a good idea to go through a Candida cleanse during this stage. It's ideal if you can get the stress sorted to some degree, because it's really going to minimize any unwanted responses that could occur. Now, die-off reactions can be helped with supplement support if you take the right supplements at the right time. When the diet transition comes in before the Candida cleanse, it will smoothen the journey significantly. If you can start good enzyme formulation and probiotic 3 or 4 weeks before you even do the Candida cleanse, it can minimize a lot of reactions. And that's why I recommend taking these things often before antimicrobials, especially if your diet is not really finely tuned. You can minimize virtually all forms of die-off reactions. The most powerful reactions I see generally are with impatience, high dosages, people living under stress, not making the correct diet changes. But I'm sure now that you watch this video, you've got some good ideas and may have an understanding on how to tackle this beast called yeast. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.